You guys can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So I'll start by saying that the same message. It's like until we realize, until we get better at playing defense, it's going to be hard to win because tonight it's like I can point at a lot of different things that we can do better, and that's pretty much every game. But we shot 20% from three. Like most nights, that's not going to happen. But the message to our guys is like, listen, we can't just rely on scoring to either stay in games or win games. And right now, that's kind of what we're doing most nights out. And offensively, we're doing good things. We're putting up big numbers, but that's just not. There's no way to win consistently unless you're one of the most elite offensive teams of all time, which we're not there. So. It's got to hit home that we have to be able to get stops so that when we have off nights like tonight, we still give ourselves a chance. And give Atlanta credit. They came back and after we got up on a nice early lead, they worked their way back into it. So give them credit, and we have to be better.
James Ham.
Yeah, Luke, you have your starting unit, which has been pretty solid. You have your closing unit, which has been pretty solid. But how do you find something different with those other groups that you're trying to mix and match with? Because the second quarter, you guys just got thumped, unfortunately.
Yeah. We're working. We're trying to find that rhythm because you're right. We've found a group that starts most games pretty well, and we've found a group that ends most games pretty well. We've struggled to find a rhythm, and that's not on any individual player. That's on us as a team. Like we have to do a better job of competing and playing better when there's different groups of us out there. So that is something that we're looking into and trying to find the best way to go about that. But it hasn't been a strength of ours so far this year.
Jason Jones.
Hey, Luke, when these teams are going on the runs, what are you looking for your guys to do execution-wise to kind of slow it, maybe at 6-0 before it gets to 10, 12? Like, what do you want to see them start to do in those situations?
Well, first off, what we're really looking for, which we're making slow strides at getting better, is the guys on the court coming together and talking about what they're seeing and what's happening out there. And that to me is always the first sign of a team that's ready to take the next step. Besides that, it's I talk to De'Aaron and Tyrese a lot. I want the ball, and Harrison to a certain extent too, because of what he can do when he gets the matchup that we like, is being more demanding on the court, getting the ball, and not necessarily for them to individually score, but that's when we're at our best. Is when we have those guys making decisions and making plays for others. So just continuing to look to really embrace that. And it's not comfortable. It's never comfortable to be a player and be on the court and get guys to where you need them to be. But that's one of the things we're going to continue to encourage and continue to look for out of those guys.
Tony Harvey.
Yeah, Coach Walton. I just Rajon Rondo. He seemed like he got into the game that second quarter and he changed the dynamics. A layup here, a three-pointer here. He's just doing things without any pressure on it. Could you comment on what he was doing? Because that's when things changed for the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He was huge in that turnaround for them. As far as getting them good looks and knocking down shots himself. I think part of what happened to us is we started missing shots, and it kind of started draining our energy a little bit. But on the other end, he really, I thought he took control of that game. And he's clearly a brilliant point guard. He's won multiple championships. He knows how to take advantage of angles. He knows how to attack. You know, young players to where he can. There's a lot of tricks of the trade you learn as the game goes, and he knows all of them. So you're absolutely right. He was. You know, he was a big part of that. But look, we knew that going in. We talked about it, and we just didn't do a good job of stopping him.
Jason Anderson.
Hey, Luke. You know, when you look at the kind of the mental aspect of playing defense and the focus that takes, does that even exceed the I guess the energy and the physical effort that it takes to be a good defender?
I think they're pretty equal and pretty. They're both extremely important to being good at defense. The effort and the energy has to be there. And then so does the understanding and the mindset of you know, 5 guys working as one unit, and especially in today's NBA with the amount of spacing and talent that's out there. You know, it has to be a 5-man job, and we have to be able to rotate and communicate and do multiple efforts, those type of things. So yeah, they're both very important to putting together a good defense.
James Ham.
Yeah, Luke, you talked about you want your guards like De'Aaron and Halliburton to get to the rack. Tonight's game specifically, I mean, Fox puts up big numbers, but those 10 3-point attempts, he could get to the line, he can get to the key at will this whole game, and it seems like he settles. Is there a moment where you have to pull him aside and say, look, if the three's not falling, we need you at the rim or setting up, you know, breaking down and getting your teammates involved?
Yeah, but I mean, that's part of his development, James. And it's like, as he keeps growing as a player, like he had 32, he got to the free throw line 10 times. As a team, we had 66 points in the paint. You know what I mean? So like, part of it is, yes, like keep attacking, stay in attack mode. But part of it is like, if teams are going to go under, like we have confidence in him and we want him shooting those shots. And, you know, there's going to be some nights that are off. And, you know, out of that 10, there's probably a couple, you know, when we go back and watch it, that we can talk about where like, this is early in the shot clock. Maybe this is one that we can cut out of that. But for the most part, like, for us to continue to grow as a player, and you look at when we've had our success, you know, he's knocking down threes, and, you know, we're confident in him that he'll make them. And we want him always in attack mode. But if players are going to constantly go under, you know, we have to, not we have to, but, you know, we're gonna live with him taking and making threes.
Jason Jones.
Yeah, look, you kind of touched on it. I was going to ask you, what's the fine line between a good 3 and a bad 3, especially on a night like this where overall of the team, you guys are struggling from there?
Yeah, it's different for different people. You know, to me, anytime Buddy gets a catch and shoot 3, whether that's in transition or out of the offense, that's a good 3 for us. I mean, he is an elite 3-point shooter that we want out there in constant attack mode from the 3-point line. So, you know, for some of the other guys, it's kind of like, can we get that shot later in the shot clock? And if the answer is yes, then, you know, let's look to probe and get something else. And if that happens out of the flow or the rhythm of an offense, then I don't care who it is. If you know, they're a 3-point shooter for our team, and it's coming out of ball movement and drives and kicks, and they're open, we want them shooting it. And like I said, most nights we're going to make a lot more than 20% from threes, and I think we've proven that. But on nights where we can't make a shot, we got to be able to rely on you know, playing some sort of defense. So you know, it's going to be a tough lesson to keep learning until we can get there.
All right, Kamani.
Hey, Coach. I hope you're doing well. From a collaboration standpoint, what's missing? I mean, that's you know, that's my question. Is just overall, what from the collaboration standpoint, what's missing here?
Well, From a, what are you talking as a whole, or from defense, or what are we talking about?
Well, you
here?
mentioned the defensive lapses, but
Yeah, there's so it's to me it always starts with it's communication and effort, right? And then you know, for us, I like the effort a lot of the times, but our communication is not great. And then we have to be more physical. We have to understand how to be able to play defense and make people feel us without fouling. And then we know, like, there's, you know, we're undersized against certain teams, which is, you know, means that it takes, again, all 5 guys being connected on that end. And right now there's just, as you go through the game, there's just too many breakdowns from those different areas. You know, even tonight, I told the guys at the halftime, this 10-point game, and we had an awful second quarter. They had 10 points. We track it, 10 points, just throwing the ball over the top for layups in transition. Like that part of it is, again, comes back to effort and communication. You got back, you're here. In a 10-point game, we had given up 10 layups, 10 points off of layups just on throw ahead. So, you know, there's stuff like that just it can't be, you know, how we're playing out there.
Last one, Jason Anderson.
Luke, as you're talking about this, have you seen, I think we have seen stretches of games where the communication, the level of communication and execution was there, right? So why can you have it for some stretches and then not, you know, the team doesn't maintain it for other stretches?
Yeah, you know, it's a good question, and it's one of those things. You know, it's part of the process we're going through as a team. You know, I've you know, for example, I talk about Rondo because we just played Rondo and I coached Rondo. You know, as you grow in this league and you know, understand what you're doing out there, you're talking on every possession, and you know, I think part of it is we have a pretty quiet group. And part of it is, you know, we play some young players pretty heavy minutes. And, you know, if this was something easy, then, you know, you'd see young players winning all over the place. And that, you know, it normally takes time and experience to get consistent at this stuff. But you're right, we have seen it at times, and now it's about building to where we see it as consistently as possible.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thanks, guys.